Welcome to Hypnosis Health Info. I'm Roger Moore. Last week I had a weight loss client come into my Seattle office, and we were chatting about how the week had gone, and she was all excited. She was down another 3 pounds this week, and the previous 2 weeks we've been working at learning self-hypnosis, and I asked her how that was going, and she said, well, not very well. And she proceeded to tell me about everything she was doing wrong and how she wasn't doing it perfectly, and just went on and on and on about the different things that just weren't perfect about how she was doing it. And I said, well, how long have you been doing this now? And she goes, well, 2 weeks. And I said, so you think in 2 weeks you should have this skill mastered and perfected? And, well, I just think I'm just not doing very well with it. And I said, well, you know, it sure sounds to me like you've been doing really great with it. And she goes, yeah, but it's not perfectly. And I said, well, who said you had to do it perfectly? I said, you take the skill, you take the tool as I teach it, and you adapt it to work for you. And I said, there really is no way of doing it right or wrong. You do it and you make it work for you. And well, she just didn't know. And you know, and she's an office manager in a medical office, and so getting things perfect, you know, the right clients and the right bills and everything, that's important, and it's one of her strengths and one of her skills, but doesn't work real well when it comes to weight loss and using the tools. And so I proceeded to tell her about my flute story. I absolutely love the music of R. Carlos Nakai. And I love listening to his CDs. I have a bunch of his CDs, and he's a Native American flute player, if you're not familiar with his music. And a number of years ago, I went out and bought this beautiful wooden flute. And you know, I'm not musical, never had a flute lesson, just don't do well at all with musical instruments, and can't sing, can't carry a tune, and kind of can read a little bit of sheet music, you know, from piano lessons back in kindergarten and first grade. But I bought this flute, and with the notion that I was going to sound like R. Carlos Nakai. And I brought it home, and this thing squeaks and squawks. And after 2 or 3 days of it squeaking and squawking like that, I got really upset and disgusted with myself, because I did not sound like R. Carlos Nakai, and put this flute on the bookshelf where it sat for a number of years. You know, got dusted once in a while, but other than that, it didn't get used. And one day, as I was listening to some Nakai music and just, you know, sitting back and really enjoying it, I looked up at the flute on the shelf, and I got to thinking, you know, I have this beautiful flute, and other than to look at it, I'm not getting any other enjoyment out of it. And it occurred to me that if I wanted Nakai music, I could put on any one of a number of CDs. And also, I could begin playing with my flute and get some enjoyment out of playing my flute, and you know, I started to do that. I gave up sounding like R. Carlos Nakai, because I'm never going to sound like R. Carlos Nakai, and that's okay. And to this day, this flute still squeaks and squawks. Now, I'm sure if Nakai played it, he could get beautiful music out of it. But even though when I play it, it squeaks and squawks, I still get enjoyment out of sitting back and having it squeak and squawk. I don't have to do it perfectly. And that's how I encourage you to use the weight loss tools that I teach at Slender for Life and that are available to you here at Hypnosis Health Info. Is you take them, you do the best you can, and you adapt them to work for you. Because there really is no way of doing it perfectly. And you don't need to do it perfectly. You do the best you can. So approach your weight loss, approach whether you're reducing stress and anxiety, or improving in a sports performance, or bike riding, or your academic skills, whatever. Approach it from a place of compassion, from a place of grace and tenderness, that you treat yourself and you treat your body with love, with respect, with dignity, with compassion. Do the best you can, and keep working towards your goal, and have fun. Enjoy the process. It's not about doing it rigidly. It's not about doing it perfectly. I'm Roger Moore, and this is Hypnosis Health Info.